The year 2025 will be remembered for a global conflict, not with weapons, but with tariffs. The United States and the BRICS nations clashed in a trade war that shook the world economy. It began after Donald Trump's 2024 election win, when he threatened 100% tariffs on all BRICS imports. The reason? BRICS announced plans for their own currency, challenging the dominance of the US dollar. Both sides doubled down, imposing tariffs that instantly doubled the price of imported goods. This was economic warfare on a scale never seen before. The US dollar, long the backbone of global trade, now faced a direct challenge. The BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, demanded a bigger role in the world economy. The result? Chaos in global markets, rising prices, and uncertainty for everyday Americans. A 100% tariff is designed to make foreign goods unaffordable, protecting domestic industries but risking massive disruption. The stakes were high, not just for governments and corporations, but for every consumer and worker. The US and BRICS were willing to risk economic pain to defend their interests. This conflict marks a turning point, a world where American dominance is no longer guaranteed. The tariff battle is more than a trade dispute. It's a symptom of shifting global power. It affects what you pay at the store, the jobs in your community, and the future of the US economy. Understanding this trade war is key to understanding the New World Order. The stage was set for a confrontation that would touch every corner of the globe. At the heart of this conflict is BRICS, a bloc of emerging powers: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Together they represent nearly half the world's population and a growing share of its economy. BRICS has expanded, adding Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the UAE, and Indonesia, making it a formidable global force. Their goal? To challenge Western dominance and give developing nations a stronger voice. BRICS is a powerhouse in oil, manufacturing, and global trade. Their collective ambition? Reduce dependence on the US dollar. The dollar's dominance lets the US impose sanctions and control global finance. BRICS wants a new reserve currency for trade among themselves and allies. This idea gained momentum after Western sanctions on Russia. For BRICS, a new currency means protection from US economic pressure. The US sees this as a direct threat to its leadership. Trump's tariff threat was a warning: challenge the dollar, face consequences. BRICS, in turn, sees its actions as a push for a fairer, multipolar world. The core issue: who controls the rules of global trade and finance? This fundamental disagreement is what's driving the trade war. The world is watching as the balance of power shifts. President Trump's first move was bold: 100% tariffs on all BRICS imports. Announced on social media, the message was clear: protect the dollar, protect America. The tariffs would double the cost of everything from Chinese electronics to Brazilian coffee. The administration saw BRICS's new currency as an attack on US economic power. The dollar's global status gives America leverage: cheaper borrowing, powerful sanctions. Trump's warning: move away from the dollar, and you'll pay the price. This was America first, taken to the extreme. The threat sent shockwaves through markets and boardrooms. Companies relying on BRICS imports faced soaring costs. Uncertainty gripped businesses, who scrambled to prepare for a new reality. The first shot was fired. The world waited for BRICS's response. The trade war had officially begun. BRICS didn't back down. They hit back with 100% tariffs on US goods. This tit-for-tat move escalated the conflict into a full-blown trade war. For the first time, the expanded BRICS bloc acted as one, united by a common threat. Their message: we won't be bullied and will defend our interests together. The risks were huge. BRICS economies depend on US markets and vice versa. Retaliatory tariffs meant pain for both sides: lost markets, higher prices, and economic disruption. But BRICS leaders saw the long-term goal: greater independence from US dominance, as worth the short-term cost. The world watched as trade between the US and nearly half the globe ground to a halt. Global supply chains unraveled, prices soared, and uncertainty spread. The BRICS' unified response turned a threat into a global showdown. The era of easy trade was over. The stakes: the future of the world economy. The message: no one would win easily. The world braced for impact. The economic fallout was swift and severe. The Peterson Institute for International Economics projected a $432 billion hit to U.S. GDP by the end of Trump's term. American companies lost access to BRICS markets, while imports from those countries became unaffordable. Less trade meant less growth, fewer jobs, and lower profits. Prices for consumers jumped. PIIE estimated inflation would be 1.6% higher. With fewer cheap imports, competition dropped and prices rose across the board. The result? Stagflation. Slower growth and higher prices. The tariffs meant to protect American industries ended up hurting the entire economy. Families felt the squeeze, and businesses struggled to adapt. The data was clear. Aggressive tariffs come at a steep cost. The U.S. economy shrank, and Americans' purchasing power fell. The trade war's price was paid by everyone. For ordinary Americans, the trade war meant pain at the checkout. Everyday items, phones, TVs, clothes, shoes, suddenly cost much more. A $800 phone became $2,600, $70 sneakers jumped to $140. For families on tight budgets, these hikes were devastating. Inflation hit hardest for those who could least afford it. American farmers and manufacturers lost key export markets as BRICS buyers turned elsewhere. Jobs were lost as factories cut back or closed. U.S. businesses using BRICS-made parts faced soaring costs, forcing tough choices: raise prices or cut staff. Global supply chains broke down, and American workers paid the price. The trade war's impact was personal: lost jobs, higher bills, and shrinking paychecks. The economic pain was real, and it was everywhere. The cost of conflict was felt in every home. The damage wasn't limited to the U.S. BRICS nations suffered too. China's factories lost their biggest customer, triggering job losses and instability. Brazil, India, and South Africa saw exports plummet and inflation rise. Even Russia and Iran, less tied to U.S. trade, felt the global slowdown. The idea that tariffs would bring back jobs proved false. The pain was shared by all. Higher costs, lost markets, and economic uncertainty rippled worldwide. The Peterson Institute called it a lose-lose scenario. Everyone ended up poorer. The global economy, once interconnected, now fractured under the weight of tariffs. The lesson in a trade war: there are no winners, only shared loss. The world economy was sinking and everyone was on board. As of October 2025, the world stands at a crossroads. The US and BRICS are locked in a damaging standoff with no end in sight. The future is uncertain. Will the conflict drag on, or will leaders seek peace? If tariffs persist, businesses will rebuild supply chains, prices will stay high, and growth will stall. A new era of de-globalization could emerge, dividing the world into rival blocs, or mounting economic pain could force both sides to negotiate. A deal might see tariffs rolled back in exchange for concessions on currency or trade, but deep mistrust makes compromise difficult. For now, watch inflation, jobs, and political signals for signs of change. The world waits to see if leaders can step back from the brink. The great tariff battle of 2025 could define a fractured new era, or be a lesson in the cost of economic conflict. The stakes are global, and the outcome is still unwritten. The world holds its breath, hoping for a way forward.